The vibe for the shoot today in terms of the clothes and I guess the hair and makeup and everything, I would say is a little bit like 90s grunge.
At 52, supermodel Heidi Klum has seen it all in the entertainment industry. She's faced critics, conquered runways, and built an empire. But nothing prepared the world for what she was about to reveal. Breaking years of silence, Heidi dropped a bombshell about Jessica Sanchez that left everyone stunned. The supermodel and television icon called her out with 3 words that changed everything. She's a liar. But what could possibly push someone like Heidi to break her silence in such a dramatic way? What happened between these two women that made the usually composed German supermodel feel the need to set the record straight? The shocking revelation. Heidi Klum needs no introduction to most people. She's been a household name for decades, from walking the runways of Paris and Milan to hosting one of television's most successful reality competition shows. Heidi has done it all. She's a mother, a businesswoman, a producer, and someone who has always maintained a reputation for being professional and kind. At 52, she's still modeling, still working, and still proving that age is just a number in an industry obsessed with youth. For someone who has built her entire career on grace, professionalism, and staying above the drama, this was completely out of character. Heidi Klum doesn't do public feuds. She doesn't air dirty laundry. She's the woman who turned a successful modeling career into a business empire.
You come back to the show, you know, one of my favorite guests.
Thank you.
I want to talk about so many things. Congrats on Project Runway.
Thank you.
Who became America's sweetheart on Project Runway, and who has managed to stay relevant in an industry that chews people up and spits them out. So when she speaks, people listen.
My name is Jessica Sanchez. I'm 29 years old and I sing. And I was actually on the very first season of America's Got Talent.
Jessica Sanchez, on the other hand, represents a different generation of entertainment. While her name might not be as instantly recognizable as Heidi's, she made her mark on American popular culture in a significant way. The connection between these two women isn't immediately obvious, which makes this conflict even more intriguing. How did their paths cross? What happened that led to this moment? The entertainment industry is filled with rumors, half-truths, and carefully crafted public images. Celebrities live their lives under constant scrutiny, where every word is analyzed and every action is documented. In this world, staying silent is often the safest strategy. Most stars choose to ignore allegations, let their publicists handle controversies, and move on without engaging. The fact that Heidi chose to speak out directly tells us something important. Whatever happened between her and Jessica Sanchez crossed a line that couldn't be ignored. Social media has changed the game when it comes to celebrity disputes. What once would have been handled behind closed doors or through carefully worded press releases now plays out in real time for millions of followers to witness. The court of public opinion moves fast, and once a narrative takes hold, it can be nearly impossible to change. Heidi knows this. She's been in the spotlight long enough to understand how the media works. Her decision to address this situation head-on wasn't made lightly. As the story continues to unfold, one thing becomes clear. This isn't just about two celebrities having a disagreement. There's history here. There are details that the public hasn't heard. And there are reasons why Heidi felt compelled to defend herself after remaining quiet for so long. The truth, as always, is somewhere in the middle of all the noise and speculation. To understand why this conflict matters and why Heidi's words carried such weight, we need to look at who Jessica Sanchez really is and how she became connected to this story. Who is Jessica Sanchez? Before diving into the controversy that has everyone talking, it's essential to understand who Jessica Sanchez really is and why her name matters in the entertainment world. For those who might not remember, Jessica burst onto the scene during a very specific moment in American television history, and her journey has been anything but ordinary. Jessica Sanchez became a household name in 2012 when she competed on the 11th season of American Idol. She was just 16 years old, but her voice was anything but teenage. Week after week, she delivered powerhouse performances that left judges and audiences absolutely stunned. Her rendition of songs by Whitney Houston and Jennifer Holliday showcased a vocal maturity that seemed impossible for someone so young. America watched as this petite Filipina-Mexican teenager from Chula Vista, California, sang her heart out on national television. The competition that year was fierce, and Jessica quickly became a frontrunner. She made it all the way to the finale, ultimately finishing as the runner-up to Philip Phillips. But here's where things get interesting. Jessica was actually eliminated during the semifinals, only to be saved by the judges using their one save of the season. The judges believed in her talent that much. They saw something special and weren't ready to let America vote her off the show just yet. After American Idol, Jessica signed with Interscope Records and released her debut album in 2013. She tried to carve out a space for herself in the highly competitive music industry. Unlike some reality show contestants who fade into obscurity after their 15 minutes of fame, Jessica kept working. She performed at various events, collaborated with other artists, and even landed a recurring role on the television series Glee, playing Frida Romero during the show's 5th season. Over the years, Jessica built a following on social media where she shares her music, her life, and her perspectives on the entertainment industry. She's been open about the struggles of maintaining a career in music, the pressures of being in the public eye from such a young age, and the challenges of staying relevant in an industry that constantly moves on to the next big thing. Now in her late 20s, Jessica has evolved from that teenager on American Idol into a young woman trying to navigate an entertainment landscape that has changed dramatically since her television debut. She's performed internationally, released independent music, and worked to establish herself beyond the reality show that made her famous. So how does someone like Jessica Sanchez end up in a public dispute with someone like Heidi Klum? On the surface, their careers seem to exist in completely different worlds. Heidi operates in the realm of fashion, modeling, and television production. Jessica's world revolves around music and performance. Their paths shouldn't necessarily cross in any meaningful way, yet somehow something happened between them that was significant enough to make Heidi break her silence after years of keeping quiet. The connection between these two women becomes clearer when we examine the allegations that started this entire controversy. We shall now see how a seemingly small incident spiraled into a full-blown public dispute. The allegations emerge. The whole thing started small, the way most drama does these days. Jessica Sanchez was on a podcast just having a regular conversation. You know the type. Relaxed, casual, the kind where people feel comfortable saying things they might not say in a formal interview. And that's exactly what happened. Jessica was talking about her career and the ups and downs she's faced in the entertainment world. Nothing unusual there. Lots of artists talk about their struggles. But then she brought up Heidi Klum, and that's when things got interesting. She told a story about meeting Heidi at some industry event a few years back. According to Jessica, she was excited to meet Heidi. She looked up to her and thought maybe they could connect, maybe even work together someday. But Jessica said the meeting didn't go well at all. She claimed Heidi was cold to her, acting like she didn't matter. Jessica even said Heidi made comments about her career that felt mean and unnecessary. The way Jessica described it, Heidi came across as completely different from the warm, friendly person everyone sees on TV. She painted a picture of someone who looked down on her and made her feel small. Jessica said it hurt her confidence during a time when she was already struggling to find her place in the industry. At first, the interview didn't blow up immediately. But then clip gets shared here, then reposted there. Someone puts it on Twitter, another person makes a TikTok about it. Before you know it, thousands of people are talking about it. Entertainment websites started picking it up. Headlines popped up everywhere asking if Heidi Klum was really mean behind closed doors. Fan pages started debating it. Comment sections filled up with people taking sides. Here's the thing. The story felt real to a lot of people. We've all met someone we admired and had it go badly. We've all felt dismissed by someone we thought was cool. So when Jessica told her story, people related to it. It fits into this bigger conversation about how famous people treat others when the cameras aren't rolling. Social media split right down the middle. Some people completely believed Jessica. They said she had no reason to make it up. Why would she lie about something like this? Others weren't so sure. They wondered why she was bringing up something from years ago. What was the point? Was she trying to get attention? Was her career not going well and she needed publicity? Heidi's fans came to her defense immediately. They brought up all the times Heidi had been kind and supportive to people. They shared stories about her mentoring young models and helping people in the industry. But Jessica's supporters pushed back. They said just because someone is nice in public doesn't mean they're always nice in private. People can have different faces for different situations. For weeks, it was everywhere. And through it all, Heidi said nothing. Her team said nothing. No statements, no responses, no comments, just silence. And honestly, that silence made people even more curious. Why wasn't she saying anything? Did that mean Jessica was telling the truth? Or was Heidi just taking the high road and refusing to engage? The longer Heidi stayed quiet, the more people talked. Some thought her silence was classy. Others thought it was suspicious. The story just kept growing. Nobody expected what came next. After weeks of staying quiet while the rumors spread, Heidi Klum finally decided to speak up, and what she had to say shocked everyone. Heidi breaks her silence. After weeks of watching the story spread across the internet, Heidi finally had enough. She didn't release a carefully written statement through her publicist. She didn't do a formal interview with a major news outlet. Instead, she did something much more direct and personal. She went straight to her social media and spoke from the heart. The post was simple but powerful. Heidi addressed the allegations head-on, and she didn't hold back. She called Jessica's story false and said she was tired of staying quiet while lies were being spread about her. That's when she used those 3 words that got everyone's attention. She's a liar. For someone like Heidi, who's known for being diplomatic and professional, this was huge. She's been in the public eye for decades and has dealt with all kinds of rumors and gossip. She usually just ignores the noise and keeps moving forward. But this time was different. This time, she felt like her character was being attacked, and she wasn't going to let it slide. Heidi explained her side of the story in detail. She said yes, she did meet Jessica at that event, but the encounter was nothing like what Jessica described. According to Heidi, their interaction was brief, but perfectly pleasant. She said she was polite and professional, like she always is with everyone she meets. She denied ever making any negative comments about Jessica's career or treating her badly in any way. She felt like Jessica's accusations went against everything she stands for. Heidi also questioned the timing. Why was Jessica bringing this up now, years after the supposed incident? If something really bad had happened, why wait so long to talk about it? Heidi suggested that maybe Jessica was looking for attention or trying to boost her own profile by attaching herself to Heidi's name. It was a strong accusation, but Heidi backed it up by pointing out the pattern of how the story spread and gained traction. Heidi posted photos and messages from other people who were at that same event, confirming that she had been nothing but friendly that night. Colleagues and friends came forward to support her, sharing their own experiences of Heidi's kindness and generosity. The response was immediate and massive. Heidi's fans rallied around her, flooding social media with support. Many people said they knew all along that Jessica's story didn't add up. Others appreciated Heidi's directness and honesty. But not everyone was convinced. Jessica's supporters pointed out that powerful people often have others willing to back them up. They questioned whether all those friends and colleagues were telling the truth or just protecting Heidi because of who she is. Some people felt like Heidi's response was too aggressive and that calling Jessica a liar outright was unnecessary. The entertainment media went into overdrive. Every outlet covered Heidi's response. Commentary shows debated who was telling the truth. Jessica responded to Heidi's statement. She doubled down on her story, insisting that everything she said was true and that Heidi was the one lying. She said she expected this kind of response from someone powerful trying to protect their image. The back and forth continued, with both women standing firm on their versions of events. With both women refusing to back down and the public split on who to believe, the question became, what happens next? How does this conflict end? And what does it mean for both of their futures? The aftermath and what it means. So here we are, 2 women, 2 completely different versions of the same story, and a public that can't agree on who's telling the truth. This is the internet age, where nothing really disappears and everything lives forever in screenshots and archived posts. The immediate impact on both women has been significant. For Heidi, this controversy has put a small dent in her carefully built reputation. Most people still see her as the warm, successful woman they've always known. But there's now a question mark in some minds. Even if 99% of people believe her side of the story, that 1% of doubt lingers. That's the price of being accused, even when you defend yourself successfully. Jessica's situation is more complicated. Some people admire her for speaking up, seeing her as brave for calling out someone powerful. But others view her differently now. The accusation of lying, especially coming from someone as respected as Heidi, has consequences. Some people question her motives and wonder if she really was just looking for publicity. Fair or not, that perception exists. Career-wise, both women are moving forward, but the controversy follows them. Heidi continues to work on her projects, still modeling, still appearing on television, still building her brand. She's too established and too successful for one controversy to derail her completely. But every article about her now seems to mention this incident, at least in passing. It's become part of her story, whether she likes it or not. For Jessica, the attention was a double-edged sword. Yes, more people know her name now than before the controversy. Her social media following grew. But is that the kind of attention an artist wants? She's trying to be known for her music, for her talent.
Every single moment, even right now, I'm still just in disbelief of what has just happened. I literally would not be here without the votes and without the love and the support. So you guys are the reason why I'm here, so thank you.
But instead, she's known for this dispute. That's a tough position to be in. The entertainment industry has watched this whole thing play out with interest. It's become a cautionary tale about speaking out, about timing, and about how quickly things can spiral. Other celebrities have definitely taken notes. Some might think twice before sharing negative stories about industry encounters. Others might feel emboldened to speak their truth, regardless of the consequences. What's really interesting is what this says about celebrity culture and social media. We live in a time where anyone can share their story and have it reach millions of people within hours. That's powerful, but it's also dangerous. Once something is out there, you can't take it back. The court of public opinion moves fast, and it doesn't always care about facts or evidence. It cares about what feels true, what fits into existing narratives, what makes for good drama. This whole situation also highlights how we, as the public, consume celebrity news. We pick sides immediately, often without having all the information. We make judgments based on who we already like or who we want to believe. We share posts and spread stories without always questioning if they're accurate. We turn real people's lives into entertainment. The truth is, we'll probably never know exactly what happened at that event years ago. We weren't there. We only have two conflicting accounts and a bunch of people defending their friend or their favorite celebrity. Maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle. Maybe both women remember the encounter differently because memory is tricky and subjective. Maybe what felt dismissive to Jessica felt perfectly normal to Heidi, or maybe one of them is simply not telling the truth. What we can learn from this is pretty clear. Words matter, accusations matter. Once you put something out into the world, especially about another person, you can't control what happens next. The story takes on a life of its own. Jessica probably didn't expect her casual podcast comment to blow up the way it did. Heidi probably didn't think she'd ever have to publicly defend herself against these kinds of claims. Both women will continue with their lives and careers. Time will move on, and eventually, something else will capture everyone's attention. That's how the entertainment news cycle works, but the internet never forgets. This story will always be searchable, always be part of their digital footprint. For fans of both women, there's a choice to make. You can pick a side and plant your flag there, convinced you know the truth. Or you can acknowledge that celebrity disputes are complicated, that we rarely have the full picture, and that maybe it's okay not to have a definite answer to everything. In the end, this controversy reminds us that celebrities are human. They have conflicts, they have different perspectives, they make mistakes, and they defend themselves when they feel attacked. The only difference is that their conflicts play out in front of millions of people, dissected and debated by strangers who will never know the full story. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.